that you've just seen out there. It looks like a lovely day in Prospect. We're still having breakfast here inside the venue, and we're talking to the President about some of the issues that are on your mind. We've heard from our viewers, and we've listened to some of the business leaders here. And let's go back to them and find out what's on their mind. Cliff Clarkson is here, table 26. Cliff, where are you? Do you want to raise your hand so we can get a microphone to you? There's Cliff Clarkson over there. Cliff is with Orbichem Petrochemical. What's your question for the President?
Mr. President, first of all, I must say I'm immensely proud as a South African business owner to be able to engage with our state president like this. The question that I have for you, in the last week, the M's have dominated our local news. Mazibuko, Malema, the March, and on a lighter note, Mauritius. Mr. President, I'd like to have your views on the election, the recent election of the youthful Ms. Mazibuko as the opposition parliamentary leader. Thank you.
You did not want Premier Zille to answer the question. Now, I think this augurs well for South Africa. I think it's an indication that our democracy works, as well as empowerment of women works, regardless of what background they come from. I think that's an indication. You may have views about the politics. I think that's one side of the issue. I think the fact that you have an experienced male passer who was a contender being defeated by a young lady, I think it goes a long way to show that democracy works in this country, whatever the other people's views they could have. I think it should be encouraged because it gives an opportunity to all South Africans of all ages, of course adult ages, to participate, to give leadership. The fact that you will have a young lady being elected into a leadership position, it indicates the confidence that adult people have to our youth, particularly if they have been performing, they have seen that they are capable of giving leadership. I think these are in fact the fruits of democracy.
Mr. President, we're in the Western Cape, and for some reason, the ANC has struggled to get a majority in this that they enjoy in the rest of the country. Why do you think that is? What's happening in the Western Cape that is a challenge for the ANC?
No, it's just politics. Politics are politics. Politics are politics. People make their choices based on different things. I think people in the Western Cape have a particular kind of taste in terms of politics, and it's not like a permanent issue. Rest assured. Rest assured, as you know, once ANC was in charge here, it was not permanent. And now DA is in charge. It cannot be permanent.
All right. Fatima Dada, where are you? You're table number 14. Fatima, if you could raise your hand so that we can locate you. Fatima is with Pearson, and education is on your mind. What's your question?
Yes, Mr. President. The greatest challenge facing South Africa today is a lack of quality basic education. We are all agreed on this as South Africans, and it does unite us and goes to the heart of international competitiveness. Yet, we do not have a cohesive and comprehensive strategy to address this. Education has become a political battlefield. Policies come and go without being implemented or properly monitored. Education bureaucrats are not accountable and live in fear of unions. So why is the Department of Basic Education so defensive? And why will they not engage in conversation with business to work together on solutions?
Well, I wish education was not made a political football. That's been the history of this country. As you know, apartheid used education to create this huge problem that we have today. I think since 1994, we've been trying to find a way of remedying the situation. I think we've moved in the process, after trying a number of policies, to say maybe we needed to create a basic education department so that they could be focused on that one. And I think that's what we've been done. And I don't think we could say that step and many other policies have been wrong. Absolutely correct. The problem is enormous because we are dealing with a huge majority that was deliberately deprived of quality education. And we are now changing that, and it cannot be an overnight affair. I think the fact that we've got a basic education department is a clear indication of our focus on this and of our recognition how important education is to any society, particularly to our society with that kind of history. My own impression is that the department is engaging with the private sector. I might not know the details you do. They are engaging to find ways and means of solving the problems. And if you know of specific aspects that are not being addressed, I think would be very much welcomed to indicate that so that we could remedy those kind of problems. Because we want any solution that could help us solve the education problem. That is why we have made it critical kind of priority of the country. And we therefore invite those who have got ideas to help us achieve the success on this very important kind of aspect of our lives.
Okay, Fatima, thank you very much indeed. Let's go to Johannesburg. Vuyo, you have a question.
Thank you very much, Peter. Mr. President, I just want to go back to the issue about the renovation of the residences. And you say something in the line of that there are other people who make those kinds of decisions. Is it not within the ambit of your office, though, as President, to say, okay, I've been to Balfour, I've looked at informal settlements, I look at this particular issue and I think, as President, this is not the right way to go? As President, this is not the right way to go.
Well, I think I did answer the question because I said I wish I was the one who takes decisions on these matters. And I even said, as a president, I'll be staying in my home because I've got a home. These are decisions that are taken by the government on the basis of their own considerations.
You can't override those decisions.
And I wish I could override everything. You will call me a dictator. That's what you will say. No, absolutely true. You will say this president is a dictator. We don't want dictators in this country. I think the public works, which deals with this matter, has been asked questions, and I think they've tried to answer questions in the manner in which they do. If you ask me, and I think my opinion is clear, if it were to be according to me, I will have my own house to renovate. I'll stay in my own house. But it is not my call. It's a call of what government considers in many ways. And it's done universally, not just in South Africa. Every other country you go to, there are state residences that are done in a particular way, requiring certain things. So that's why I said even earlier, I can't answer the details. If you were asking me, I would have a totally different approach to the question.
All right, let's go back to Johannesburg. We'll stay there, as it were. Leanne, you have a question?
All right, thank you very much, Peter. Well, just from my opinion, Mr. President, if you had to overrule the 140 million rand, I think the whole of South Africa would appreciate that dictatorship of yours. But on to the question that we received from somebody called Lisa Colombo, who's saying, do you think you have conducted your term as president to the best of your ability? And is there anything that you would change over these years?
I didn't get the last part.
Have you conducted your presidency to the best of your ability so far? And is there anything perhaps that you might change for the remainder of your term?
Well, it's not always easy to judge yourself. I don't think I can stand here and say, well, I've done very well. I think I have tried, according to my own ability and understanding, to do what I think is necessary to be done as a president. And I've tried to change things already. I'm sure the questioner will know. We have even introduced new departments to try to make government work. For an example, performance monitoring and evaluation, which makes every person who is in government to be followed to ensure that we are able to work and we can monitor, we can evaluate. These are innovations we've brought in to say we need to do things differently in government. I think so far we've tried to do whatever we can within our ability. And of course, there are many things that we would wish to change in government. One of the things that I've always talked about, government is very slow in doing things. If I could change that overnight and make government workers work like the private sector. In government, they tend to work very slowly to do things. If there's a document, they'll sign it tomorrow, not today. There's no agency. If I could change that, I would be very happy.
A very quick question before we go to the ad break. What's the most rewarding aspect that Jacob Zuma finds about being president?
Well, is to be given an opportunity to do something for the people of this country. That is awarded. For that confidence that people have given to me is absolutely humbling.
Okay, we're going to take a quick break, and when we return, more questions for the president.